kebutuhan pendidikan berkembang sangat cepat. Dan SMA 3 sudah menyadari hal tersebut. Oke, kemudian SMA 3 sebetulnya pada tahun 2010 sudah punya cita-cita untuk menjadikan sekolah bertaraf internasional. Namun demikian, cita-cita SMA 3 itu terkendala beberapa hal, antara lain adanya kurikulum yang kita sebut kurikulum nasional, dan juga sumber daya manusia yang berupa guru dan juga buku-buku yang semuanya masih berbahasa Indonesia. SMA 3 waktu itu sudah pernah berinisiatif untuk mendidik guru-guru supaya bisa mengajar berbahasa Inggris, Pak. Dan pernah juga membuat modul bahasa Inggris. Tetapi namanya kemampuan kita terbatas. Alhamdulillah pada bulan yang lalu SMA 3 mendapatkan penawaran dari Educatius, yaitu untuk mengadakan kerjasama pendidikan bertaraf internasional dengan cara adanya dual program atau double program yang formal SMA 3 belajar, namun kesempatan untuk belajar menggunakan internasional dan berbahasa Inggris yang disediakan oleh Educatius. Karena kami melihat bahwa ini adalah kesempatan yang baik, maka SMA 3 menerima program ini, tawaran ini, dan kami pada siang hari ini ingin memberi kesempatan kepada Educatius, pada Miss Marisa Richard untuk menyampaikan yang terkait dengan program ini. Kemudian untuk orang siswa, memang kami sengaja undang di kami sendiri sebagai pimpinan SMA Negeri 3 Yogyakarta dan yang tepat. Kami ingin bahwa anak-anak SMA punya akses kepada pendidikan yang bertaraf internasional, bersertifikat internasional, tanpa harus meninggalkan Indonesia tentunya. Ini adalah kesempatan, opportunity, bagaimana murid-murid SMA 3 bisa belajar dengan kurikulum internasional, tetapi Amerika. Jadi ini adalah kesempatan yang bagus. Untuk itu, we are very grateful to Mr. George Maratika yang alumni SMA 3 to give opportunity for SMA 3 to be part of the Educatius program, dan juga Mr. Timothy yang Yogyakarta. Kami mengucapkan terima kasih yang sebesar-besarnya atas kesempatan ini, dan tentu saja juga thank you very much for Mr. Richard, Mr. Mayor, and also Miss Marisa who spend their time to give opportunity for my students to know information about education. Oke, saya kira itu Pak. Saya kira itu tidak terlalu panjang lebar, dan kami Zoom untuk bertanya langsung terkait dengan ini. Bapak Ibu inginkan informasi-informasi yang mungkin penting yang perlu Bapak Ibu ketahui. Demikian lagi, terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for Mr. Kusworo for the opening speech. Now we are going to have the opening remarks from Yogyakarta Special Region Education, Mr. Timothy, and the place is yours.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam untuk kita semua. First of all, let me express my gratitude to the principal of Senior High School 3, Bapak Kusworo. On behalf of Yogyakarta Education Council, we are honored and really pleased to have this very special opportunity to what we call and advancing students through diploma programs between Indonesia and America. This is my second term to be part of Yogyakarta Education Councils in Yogyakarta that to drive the visions of our governors, Yogyakarta special regions. He has a visions, especially the newest visions, 27, that we call as the 5 noble principles or Panchamulya. And the first should be led by education. As we know, we have 3 pillars for the development policy, which are tourism and then culture and education. So education is really very important and the heart of development policy in Yogyakarta special regions. The visions of our governors that must be supported by the education sector in Yogyakarta is to reach Yogyakarta to become the center of cultural-based educations that are outstanding and beneficiary to all the people. Then we want to have what we call as a wise wisdoms, wise people in Yogyakarta. And having this webinar, it's very much in line with the efforts that we try with visions of our education in Jakarta, because actually it has been years in the center of cultural based education. Our minister, Mr. Nadiem Makarim, on the day before was elected as the Minister of Education, he once said that I'd be the one from education sector, but I do really know the future. So this is the key message that the minister delivered at that time. I might not be the one who did not come from the education sector, but I do know really future because my work is related to the future is the digital era. So the future is to have students' portfolio that are not based only on academic transcript or academic records, but should be based on what we call as a competitive work that are educations, the future of every student's ambitions in the future. So therefore, he delivered a policy at our national education policy called Merdeka Belajar, or independent learning, or it can be also translated as a equitable education policy that have given us opportunity for the policy makers, also the practitioners, schools, and education to really having break so that the education, the future education and the future works happen to meet all futures through having a revolutionary and this afternoon I'm really happy because my personal dream come true, that get all the audience enthusiastically join the programs. I call it a dream because at that time, if I could, it's my ambition a cross-cultural exchange between Indonesia and Canada. I was dreaming also at that time, if I were the student, to be able to access the dual degree, dual diploma, not dual degree, dual. And that through having this pilot, we run these pilot programs among senior high school that we have selected, SMA 3 or senior high school 3, senior high school 8, and senior high school 11. So those senior high school, we set senior high school to be the pilot program for our future education policy, so that in the future we dream of having a lot of school, especially to access what we call so the students can access this program of the education. I think from my colleagues from Educatius will explain it more detail and further. But let me also say on behalf of Education Council of Yogyakarta that this is really the one that we are looking for, to realize the international, the world-class education environments in Yogyakarta. So not only to have a linear policy, but we must have what we call as a forklift for the education policy in Yogyakarta to have it through the future of education. As this is all my expectation and my remarks. You successful webinar today, and thank you very much for Gus. Thank you very much, Marisa, to joining this webinar. Jos Iwan Maran, my colleague in Chamber of Industry, Special Yogyakarta Special. To all the students, the parents, thank you for our webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much for Mr. Timothy for the remarks. And before we start the discussion, I will introduce the moderator of this agenda, Mr. George Iwan Marantika from Kadin DIY. Will lead the discussion. And for Mr. George, this time and place is yours.
Thank you again. Thank you, of course, the headmaster of number 3 or SMA 3, and also Timothy from the Education Council of Yogyakarta. Before my friends from Educatius will speak, that is from Stockholm, right? Or Malmo, Sweden. Yeah. Hi, Andreas, coming in from Malmo, Sweden. And we have also from Educatius, the Educatius counselor, the counselor pendidikan dari Educatius, Ms. Marisa Reckenberg, with here today, live from here with us today. I'd like to just say that I am an alumni of SMA 3. Saya alumni SMA 3. Graduated in 1987. Lulus 1987. Way back. I see all the teachers laughing here. Right? So, that must be like a dinosaur, huh? A dinosaur. So, but way back in 1987, actually my classmate was a minister. Mas Roy Suryo itu angkatan saya. Roy Suryo. And so SMA 3 is one of a very well known SMA. Ini SMA terkenal ya. The Yogyakarta and also it probably produced leaders from ministers to business leaders. We are sitting here with students, future leaders. The students in this room are future leaders, and not only in this room, but we have students from classes. Ada berapa kelas nih, Pak? Yang lagi masuk di Zoom? Oh, 12 classes.
12 classes.
So we have classes now following this through Zoom, so not everybody in this room. And we have parents, teachers also following this now. So thank you very much from SMA Tiga. You shared about the program. Yes, Marisa and Richard, who's listening in, that the SMA 3 intends to develop its international program with education. That's the idea behind Pak Kus's remarks, opening remarks. And education is the reason why the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce, we are endorsing education. I'm here with Mr. Randy, the public relations official, Pak Randy Mahardika, and also Mr. Tim is a colleague of ours, is because we want to see schools like SMA 3 be in the forefront of Indonesian education. Yeah, and Pak Nadiem Makarim, tadi Pak Tim shared that he has led the way by opening up the education system. Sekolah Merdeka. And that Pak Kus very smartly identified the strategy and aligning through these new ways of doing education with groups like education. And this is a new frontier of education, the new wave of education, where you can get an international diploma through the utilization of technology. And so we are happy to have Education's group here today. And I have to report will be education next week. Education, SMA 3 and Education are future school. Yeah, because Sekolah Merdeka kita meramutnya. So leadership is very key, but it's great because we have here to be the leaders of the future. But you are the future, right? Hidup SMA 3. Gitu dong. Kalau yang angkatan gae aja semangat ya. Yang angkatan milenial harus lebih semangat ya. So Pak Andreas and Marisa, we have Pak Kus shared we have about 45 minutes to. I'm gonna allow Pak Andreas. I would like to recognize Pak. He's sitting here. Director of Education. Chris Bayer, and from Sweden. Malmo has a very good football team. FC Malmo, the top. So coming in from Malmo, Sweden to open, and then he will be interfacing with Ibu Marisa Reckenberg, who is Brazilian and Singaporean. So Brazilian are great football players. Ibu Marizani, Brazilian and Spanish and Brazilian. Ya. Brazilian ini pemain bolanya hebat-hebat di Brazil. So Ibu Marisa Reckenberg, as the Education Council, will interface and sharing with you students and teachers about education. With that, I will give the floor to Mr. Andreas Bayer to lead the conversation. Andreas, welcome.
Thank you very much, George. And first of all, Principal Kusuru, thank you very much for having me here. I wish I was there. I've had the pleasure of visiting your fantastic school with very distinguished alumni. We've already established that. It was a great visit. I cannot wait for the next one. But today, I'm proud to be there with you online. So thank you very much for having me. Pak Tim, Pak George, thank you very much for making this possible. And Marisa, thank you for being there. The biggest expert Educatius has on online programs, and as that, the biggest expert in the world probably on online programs. So you're in the right place at the right time. Let me say that when it comes to our efforts within Educatius, we are an international education company. What we do is we bring international education to students from all over the world. We've been doing so for 20 years. We have 8,000 students on our high school programs every year. we're very proud to bring international education to students. And as you know, the landscape of education is, continuously changing, being updated. There's new technology, there is new need for learning. And what we see, one thing is very consistent, and that is that people from around the world need to learn from people from around the world, other parts of the world. International education is extremely important. Now, you're sitting there in the room, students. We have students online listening. We have students in other rooms in the school, I heard, listening. And you're all future leaders. And please be aware that in order to be a successful future leader, it is a very good idea to learn from people around the world. It's a very good idea to understand that international education can be of great importance for successful future leadership. Now, what does this mean? Well, for us 20 years ago, it meant taking students from one place to another in order to help them get this international education. But technology moves forward. There are new needs, there are new skills that students need in order to be successful. And what we have been able to do is, instead of bringing the student to international education, we bring international education to the student. How do we do that? Through the online program for a dual diploma that Marissa and myself will be telling you more about today. Why do we do this? One simple answer. One simple answer. With education, you get new learning. You get it from all over the world. We do it to help you open up your world, to help you see more what is out there for your future, for the benefit of you and for the benefit of people around you in the future. This is why we do it. And this is why it's important as well, so that you can open up your future to the world. That's very important. And with that, that was my opening statement. We will be telling you more about the program. I would like for Marissa, maybe if you wouldn't mind, Marissa, to take us through a little bit just about the practicalities, how the program works, and then we can talk about more about the benefits and things like that afterwards. Does that sound okay, Marissa? Okay, so for now, thank you very much. I will mute myself and leave the floor to Marissa. And again, Principal Kusworo, thank you very much for having me. Pak George, Pak team, thank you very much for setting this up. Thank you.
Marissa, the floor is yours.
Hello, selamat sore.
Selamat sore.
I'm always in doubt. 2:35, selamat sore.
Selamat sore.
Okay, good, good. Okay, so practicalities of the program. The program is, you come to school, you learn your core courses, subjects, and then you go home or not. You may stay here on this lovely computer and go online. And this is where you have a selection of courses that we call electives, because she may choose marine biology, and he may think that personal finance is more interesting. So each one of you will choose 6 electives to study 3, maybe a year, right? So it would be a complementary course over each semester for you to learn and interact with our students online. So basically, you have during school breaks, after school, at home, you cannot sleep. It's past midnight. You can still go online and study. Or, oh my God, you are playing gamelan too hard and your your hand is sore and you cannot come to school, studying at home. badminton, right? On Saturday then. Okay, so you study online, meaning that you have your own pace, your timing, and your choice of subjects that you want to study apart from your core subjects. That's it, as simple as that. So you have your assignments, you have your list of assignments that will have a normal flow, but that's all that you need to follow, meaning that you cannot jump from here to there as if you were reading a comic book and to read the middle, you just jump to the end. No, cannot. But that's all. That's the only thing that you need to follow. You follow your pace. This week you have exams, you cannot study. It's not a problem. There is no due dates for your assignments. So next you can say next week or next month. There are different students from different academic systems doing the same courses online. And each one, because I observe them on a weekly basis, they work differently. Sometimes I just see a strange pattern, and then I just write the student. I started that course yet if you speeding up with the other one. Oh, I prefer to do one, finish, and then do another one. You're so lucky because you're not 50 plus like me, that I come from a system where everybody had to do absolutely the same subjects, absolutely the same way. And I knew I was different from my peers, that they were different from me. So there is no one sock fits all. All the socks are different, or all the feet that I can see here, they're different, right? That's the same thing when it comes to education. Some people will memorize words, other sounds, and some will just do it and they will know it. We see learn while we sleep courses. They might work for some people, right? That's the same thing with our online learning. The idea behind it is that you find your own pace. Good. And what's the beauty behind being able to choose the subjects that you want and do them on your own pace? Is that you will need to organize yourself. You need to start prioritizing things. Two skills, they are not taught at school, but they will be required in university. If you go to a third degree, they will be required. You have not been taught that. And how do we get that? How do we arrive at a university level with some requirements that were not taught through experience? And this is what the new design of curriculum. Through this only content. As I said, you can choose to do 6 credits, 6 different courses over a year. At the same time, you're studying for your regular core subjects, right? For instance, in this room, who has, because Indonesians, you always look so young. So I don't know if you're 10, 11, in the room. Just, yeah. I always said it was the weather, but I live here and yeah, I'm still the age that I am. So how many of you have an idea or what you would like to do, or that you think you know, or that your parents told you that you should do? Just raise your hand if you have an idea, an aspiration, a goal.
Raise hand, please.
You may be shy, or you may be just confused about what to do. When I was 15, I had an idea, yeah, I wanted to be a product designer. And I wanted to go to a specific university. Yeah, I got into it. I spent it was not education at all. But I thought I might go fire. But I had we didn't have and try it. So after I finished the university, at the first time, and no, and then after a year, I was doing something else. Because in fact, I said, well, I'm already here. I just finished the course. But with a different subject, different finances or marketing or AP biologies, AP courses are advanced courses. You can try, you can give it a try. You can have your voice and you can get in touch with the content before deciding what your next step is. There, as Andreas will say now, there is a lot of good things about having 2 diplomas instead of 1. But for me, who has studied a long time ago, for me, the perspective of seeing your future, that's my point. Want and of things in Indonesian character that the world needs. Okay, so you should go abroad. You should, because the profile of Indonesian students is way different from other countries. You need to move a lot. There's a lot of people like you here in Indonesia, but not abroad. You need to go abroad. The world really needs you. Okay, it's not only that companies want to compete with other resources that are the country. The world needs Indonesian students. You should go abroad to study, to work, but there are certain competencies that you need to learn to feel safer abroad. So Andreas, could you please talk a bit about, hello? Let's say if
Yeah, yeah, I'm here. Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
good. Yeah. Do you mind talking about why a student should try a dual diploma and the good point?
I do not mind at all, actually. It will be my pleasure to do so. Yeah, and thank you, Marissa. And also, since we're a bit pressed for time here, I'm gonna talk on the fact that our students have very different reasons for choosing to do the dual diploma, but we have very clear knowledge about what it is that is the main benefit of doing a dual diploma. First of all, the international education that you get. Now, as a young person today, finishing high school, you will be moving into a much more competitive landscape. That's for sure. And because of that, you need to strengthen your CV. When you go for that first job interview or that first internship or whatever it may be, you need to make sure that you stand out in the crowd. And one very important part of that is your CV, and showing that you have a dual diploma gives you that edge, because it shows that you've taken time out to apply yourself, to work hard at a young age in order to get a dual diploma. It shows independence. It shows the fact that you have a dual diploma with the skills that you learn from that and with the academics that you learn from that. Marissa said it before, you have a variety of things to study, or you can focus in on something and do that more. But I think one of the most important things, one of the key elements of doing this dual diploma is also in the actual skill of learning online. You see me here. I am in Sweden, in another part of the world, attending a meeting in Indonesia. So I am not there. I am doing this remotely. I am what they call remote working. Now, remote working is something that is going to be, in every person's possibility in the future. It's going to be very important to know how to work remotely and still be successful. Now, that starts with remote learning. And remote learning is something that universities will require for you to know, and that you will be subject to a lot later on in life. But it's a skill that you don't really learn unless you do it. That's my point. Remote learning for remote working is a very important skill. And the online dual diploma program gives you that skill. So when later on you're going for that job interview or you're going for that internship, you can answer the question truthfully. Are you able to learn remotely? Yes. Can you tell me about a time when you did that before, so we know you have experience? Yes, I took a dual diploma in high school, so I have a lot of experience with it. That's going to be a very powerful thing for you to answer. So the remote learning in itself is extremely important, along with the fact that you have this international high school diploma. And let me tell you about that. When we work with our programs, we work with three of the most. Oops, that was something that I think that was just by mistake. Never mind. Only in my ears, maybe. We work with three of the most distinguished boarding schools in the United States. These are schools, I told you before, we've been sending students abroad for many, many, many years. These are schools we've been working with for a long, long, long time, and they are providing their curriculum to be taught online. And when a student finishes, they will have their diploma from that school. We will help you pick the school because it will depend on the classes you want to take, the courses you want to take. And then when you're done, you will have your diploma from that school. That also strengthens your CV. That also shows you have graduated from this school. And let me tell you, if you're interested in going to university in the United States, having a graduation from one of these schools puts you top of the pile. That's just the way it is. Admissions officers in US universities, they are very interested in which school you graduated from. So if you come and you say, I graduated from the best school in Indonesia, the best school in Indonesia where you are, and I graduated from this very distinguished boarding school in America, both, it's going to look good for you on your CV. So that's very important. So Marissa, I don't think we have time to go through the boarding schools in much detail. You've already mentioned the course selections and things that we can do. Why don't we talk a little bit about the support that we offer? Because it is independent study, it is remote learning. So we should take just a few minutes to talk about the support that we offer for the students online. And then we should also talk about the preparation that we offer with the English program. So why don't I start to talk a little bit about the support? And then I will hand over to you, Marissa. When you work online doing your studies, of course, you don't have a teacher in front of you in the classroom to ask when you get stuck. It's a very different dynamic, and it is supposed to be. You're supposed to be in a different environment because you're learning something new, right? So when you work online, it is academic content that you learn from the system. You have a teacher there, but your interaction with the teacher is more similar to your interaction to a university professor would be. You set certain times for you to meet online. You set certain times for you to plan assignments that you have. Maybe halfway through an assignment, a paper or something, you meet again with the teacher and you make sure you're on track, right? And that's how you interact with your teacher. Your teacher is responsible for the course you do, and you have meetings along the way. And behind the scenes, you have Marissa and her team making sure you do what you're supposed to do. If you're out of the system for a week, you're not studying, oh, Marissa will knock on your door, not in Indonesia. I mean, she's in Indonesia, but she will knock on your online door, so to speak, and say, hey, I see you haven't been in for a week. Why is that? Do you have a lot of stuff to do at your local school? Do you do a lot of work there? How can I help you to get back on track? Or sometimes Marissa and her team, they're also very nice people. They say, hey, I saw your assignment. I saw your paper on in American history. It was really good. Well done. Good job. Your teacher liked it too. I saw that. Very nice. Good grade. But sometimes you get stuck. Believe me, I know. And sometimes you get stuck with calculus, for example, which is not the, I understand that. It's a difficult course. And you need to raise your hand. So how do we solve that then? Online, you're sitting there. Well, we have a 24-hour service for that. You just click a button. There is a box that opens up. On the other side of that, there's a person. How may I help you? I have problem with calculus. Okay, could you describe the problem you have? And if you're working with a document, pull it into the box. You describe, and then 20 minutes later, somebody connects with you and says, would you like to chat, or would you like me to give you a video call? I've read up on your problem. I'm going to help you with it. The person connects with you for as long as you like. You solve the problem, you move on. That's how we solve the issue of raising your hand, and it's a very effective one. So you have the teacher, you have Marissa and her team, you have the 24-hour tutoring help. We do everything to make sure you are successful in your studies. But we need to do, sometimes we need to do a little bit before that. I know you're all really good English speakers, so maybe this doesn't apply to you, but it applies to a lot of students around the world. So Marissa, would you like to just mention a little bit about the English preparation program, and then a little bit about the university and college placement assistance that we have at the end? And then I think we probably need to wrap up because I know we had a strict timeline. Okay?
So, because then I would insist on the tutors that we have, because in fact it's way faster than we are able to connect to with them. But anyway, as Andreas was saying, we have an English program where you have classes on a daily basis with other students as well. Your grade to make you up to the classes. We understand. But apart from that, so you have several weeks to alongside program. So you're in grade 12, you want to apply for universities, or you have no idea where you could study abroad in the US, in Australia, and you need some help to prepare your application. So there is someone, again, tutors are tutors, they're not artificial intelligence things helping you. If someone, flash and same thing with the cap. It's a person who will help you prepare your application to universities. Who will help you? Well, I like to do archaeology. So where are the places that we could go? Or, so what is your budget? What kind of a scholarship do you think you could apply to? Because there's a lot of universities with different requirements for scholarships, and so you should the level of scholarship, the it's not one of the 300 universities. There's a safe placement, meaning that you will, we guarantee that you'll be accepted in one of the universities, right? So, well, I think that we are a bit short in time. So, George has a home team up all the questions. And in case you want to send me a direct question or you have a doubt, they all have my contact as well. So we can clear any doubt. So I think that's it. So to whom should I pass them? George?
Yeah, so yes, thank you, Marisa. Thank you, Andreas, for the explanation. Maybe let me help provide the sort of a summary. Jadi teman-teman, this model of education is very unique. Ya. Jadi pola ini memang sangat unik ya. Dan oleh karena itu saya sangat apresiasi sama Pak Kus, sama kepala sekolah. I very much appreciate the headmaster, the principal here, of seeing the future. Pak kepala sekolah ini lihat masa depan itu kemana pendidikan ini. Beliau lihat. Maka masih ingat nggak Indonesia itu tuan rumah G20? Nonton di TV nggak kemarin? Nonton ya di TV ya. Itu besar tuh. Jadi di dalam G20 itu ada konsep the future of work and education. Masa depan, lapangan pekerjaan dan pendidikan. Dan itu sangat terkait. Sehingga that is very much what Mr. Andreas was saying, remote learning, remote working. Jadi di masa depan kerja yang kawan-kawan, adik-adik akan hadapi, kalau mau jadi seperti senior-senior Anda sebelumnya, seperti Pak, ya, mungkin Mas Roy ya, atau yang lainnya, nyumbang gedung di ya, banyak perusahaan yang nyumbang di gedung Geraha itu adalah alumni Fokus berhasil untuk rangkul. Nah, itu masa depan kayak apa? Dan ini yang Pak Dim juga amati. But the future of work and education, the future of remote working and remote learning, skill set. Jadi tadi yang diomongin Pak Andreas, remote working, remote, itu adalah skill set. Yang nanti bersama dengan SMA di Indonesia, di istilah SMA lokal, bekerja sama nanti dengan kalau teman-teman tertarik bisa ikut program ini. Karena itu menambah satu skill set. Nah, program ini, this program has very unique curriculums ya. And you can look at it, nanti dibagikan kurikulumnya. Tapi I'm just looking here at one course. Course Introduction to iOS Mobile Application Development. Teman-teman tahu iOS itu apa? Yang punya Apple siapa di sini? Nggak boleh bawa handphone ya maksudnya? Boleh. Boleh ya? Harus. Ada yang bawa Apple nggak di sini? Ada. Hah? Ada? Coba angkat Apple-nya. Apple-nya diangkat. Hah? Wah, ini canggih. Handphonenya pada canggih-canggih semua nih. Hah? Itu operating systemnya namanya iOS. Pinter. Kalau saya punya Samsung, nggak bisa pakai iOS, makanya ada di sini introduction to Android application. Jadi memang futuristic. Ada lagi game development di sini. Jadi ini menyiapkan nanti bekerja sama dengan Pak Kus dan SMA 3. Program-program seperti ini menyiapkan anak-anak kawan-kawan depan untuk secara canggih menghadapi masa depan. Dan itu konsep yang dibawa oleh Sekolah Merdeka Pak Nadiem. Jadi istilahnya portofolio bilang ini, model portofolio. Gitu ya Pak Tim ya, portofolio. Nah, portofolio dengan SMA 3 sesuai dengan kurikulum yang ada di SMA 3 disandingkan dengan international curriculum. Dan itu yang dimaksud khusus education disandingkan dengan apa yang ada di SMA 3. Sehingga rekan-rekan mungkin ada juga yang tertarik dengan hal-hal yang mungkin materi-materi yang lain. Ini kan tadi yang technology oriented ya. Ini misalnya materi-materi yang terkait dengan science yang udah ada pembagian ya. Di kalau kelas 10 belum dibagi. Ya? Sudah dibagi ya. Science di sini bisa belajar Earth Space Science. Ditambah lagi mungkin kalau mau dicoba Advanced Computer Science. Cuma ada juga pilihan karena tadi Bu Mariza bilang, Mariza shared that you can choose, of 6 options. Tapi mungkin karena namanya juga SMA 3, ya kan? Nah, SMA 3 itu kan tidak cuma jago pendidikannya dan inteleknya ya. Tapi jago apa? Seninya juga kan? Benar nggak? Zaman saya dulu vokalis band SMA 3. Oh, dulu vokalis loh, jangan salah. Nama bandnya Exodus gitu. Exodus. Iya, dulu nama bandnya itu. Mungkin di sini yang tertarik musik juga ada di sini. Music courses dan lain sebagainya. Jadi ada banyak pilihan nanti di sharing sama Ibu Zizi nanti course-course yang diadakan. Tapi kenapa kami dari Kadin mendukung program Dewan Pendidikan? Kita lihat Jogja berada di garis depan dari konsep sekolah merdeka yang dicanangkan ini. Jadi what you have shared, Andreas and Marisa, I help summarize it in Indonesian for those parents here maybe that are online. We have 59 participants, but actually some of those participants are representing people in rooms there, and a very large group here of parents, teachers, and students. That this SMA 3, in terms of the concept and vision for SMA. We have about 10 more minutes if we have from the group for questions and answers. Kita buka sekarang floor kalau ada pertanyaan dari siswa atau guru atau orang tua yang ingin bertanya. Memang ini saya lihat di grup ada beberapa pertanyaan di chat grup. Kalau boleh saya buka chat di sini, if I can open the chat, there's quite a few questions actually here. And one question, okay, no, it's a statement on the microphone. Sorry, very much. Mungkin atau mungkin kalau ada pertanyaan, apakah guru mau mewakili teman-teman atau monggo Bapak Kepala Sekolah. So, the headmaster and principal representing the group here would like to ask a question.
Yeah. Before I ask the question, I would like to emphasize the benefit of this program. Di Bapak Ibu dan anak-anak sekarang, bayangkan, please imagine that you finish SMA 3, you have ijazah dan juga diploma internasional, ya kan? Tadi sudah disebutkan keuntungannya banyak. yang jelas pilihan course-nya itu banyak ya. Kita lihat betul-betul apa itu yang tidak dimiliki oleh kita di sini. Itulah yang kenapa I dream of having this kind of education, international education. Pertanyaannya saya Pak George, kayak mungkin mewakili dari orang tua juga, gitu, untuk mendapatkan sertifikat, apakah harus katakanlah memilih apa jumlah tertentu courses 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, or they can choose maybe only 2 or 3 and they still get a diploma or certificate. Itu penting ya. Jadi jumlah courses-nya itu berapa? Ya kan? Ya. Kalau pilihannya course-nya itu sesuai dengan selera anak-anak sekalian ya. Ada yang mau robotik, mau ini pilihannya banyak sekali ya. Betul-betul yang future need. Tapi apa? How many courses they should take?
Thank you, Pak Kus. So, Pak Andreas, Ibu Mariza. The question from the headmaster, and it relates to, again, micro-credentialing. Yeah. So, the courses for a diploma, I think was shared with 6 courses, but are you able to take courses on a micro-credentialing process and to get certificates from a micro-credentialing process? So that's the question, and maybe I'll give you, Andreas, the shot to answer that, and then after that, Marisa. Go ahead, Andreas.
Thank you very much. Yes, the 6 courses is the minimum requirement for a dual diploma, but the student is free to take 1, 2, 3 courses. We do have students who seek, as you said, that micro credential. That, for example, robotics is not offered where they are in their local school, but they're very keen on taking that as a subject, so they would take that online. Same thing with psychology, has been a very popular one like that. So it is possible for students to take more courses or less courses. Absolutely. The minimum requirement for a dual diploma is 6 full credits. But if you want to, if you're interested in just a couple, absolutely take them. There is always value in learning, of course. So you know, if there is a subject you're interested in, take it and you do just that. You want to add something, Marisa?
No. Okay. All right.
Nope. Oh.
Thank you. Yeah. So thank you, Andreas. You answered it. Now I'll probably share it in Indonesian for the parents or teachers and that. Ya, jadi bisa diambil secara micro credentialing. Namanya itu konsep pendidikan saat ini. Jadi diambil secara terpisah 1 persatu atau 2 per 3 dan dapat sertifikat masing-masing. Dapat sertifikat masing-masing. Nah, kalau sudah memenuhi 6 penuh, itu mendapatkan diploma internasional, ijazah internasional. Demikian.
Oke, ya. Ya. Oke. Oke, dari orang tua dan anak sekalian. Ini kesempatan, good opportunity ya. Tapi yang luar ini ke depannya ini lagi ya, akan apa untuk mimpi SMA yang ingin dan silakan.
Saya cuma mau tanya ya. Program itu kan bisa 2, bisa 3 tahun ya. Ya, saya mengulang. Jadi programnya itu kan bisa, yang saya dengar kan bisa 2 tahun, bisa 3 tahun ya. Nah itu misalnya seorang siswa itu akan mengambil satu mata pelajaran. Ketika dia itu ngambil 2 tahun dengan ngambil 3 tahun itu apa perbedaannya? Apakah materinya tetap misalnya materinya ada 15 item itu diselesaikannya bisa 2 tahun, bisa 3 tahun, atau 2 tahun itu hanya sampai berapa item, kalau 3 tahun sampai berapa item, begitu. Terima kasih.
So Andreas and Marisa, the question is related to the process of learning. So Pak Ikhwan is a teacher, and he just came into the main room here. He was listening in from the other classroom that they have this Zoom on. And so Ikhwan's question is related to the process of the education process itself in 2 years and 3 years. Right? And obviously this will relate to the asynchronous process. Yeah. And how long, I mean, how could you explain that? How many courses do you take in 2 years? How many courses do you take in 3 years? Or is there a process, I think, through the asynchronous that you can maybe learn on as you go, right? So go ahead, Andreas, you can take a shot at that, and then I'll allow Marissa also to comment. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll take a shot. Now, so it's like this. The years of this program is something that we set up as a plan, because we need structure for the student. It helps them. But to say how long does it take to finish is how long is a piece of string, like we say. It depends. Students will finish in different amounts of time. Which means that if we set up a program that with a study pace of 2 years, because the system is asynchronous, students have the possibility to finish it quicker. It depends how much time they have to spend. It depends how one student that, for example, has many extracurricular activities will have less time to spend, so they will take them longer. And another student who has more free time after school will have more time to spend, so they will do it quicker probably. But what we want to do is, when we set up the program, is that we set it up for 2 years or 3 years just to provide that structure for the student. And then as the student goes along, if they're keeping that pace, fine, keep that pace. That's good. We know you will finish in time if you keep that pace. So you can, relax in that knowledge and just be comfortable with that. But if a student feels like, I want to go a bit quicker, that's okay too. We'll just accelerate the pace of the program. And basically what it means is that we just make the next course available whenever a student finishes the one before. So that's what asynchronous means. They study in their own time, they study at their own pace. And as long as they meet the deadline of the course, then they can go quicker if they want to. And this also it's not just from student to student. It could be during 1 year, one student has more time. The year after, they have less time. So they may want to do some more work early on and then a bit less work later on. If they want that, we plan that out with them, and we make sure that they can keep that pace. So that's how the flexibility is. So again, the timing of the program is set as a framework for the student. If they want to go quicker, they can go quicker. I don't know if that answers the question. I hope so.
Please, Marissa.
Yeah, there is something that we haven't mentioned. That is, every course, for every course, the student has access in a platform for 40 weeks. 40 weeks would be a regular school year. So the idea is, okay, I'll just start my school year adding 1 or 2 courses. They would have the pace and do it and finish by the time that the school year finishes. But they can do, as Andreas mentioned, faster. They cannot do slower, because otherwise I will be there, hey, you need to do it, right? But they can do up to 4 weeks per course, or that's it. It depends on the students' planning. For instance, French students, most of them, they work during summertime. So for them, it's quite important to have it structured through the school year. Other students, like Italians, that do have a lot of exams in July, just before summer starts, they do prefer to do it faster and even do something else, start in June, and then July they're studying, and they go back to online learning in August. So there is this flexibility. The only thing is that they cannot go over the 40 weeks of exposure to the content. Typically, it would mean studying, let's say, 1, 2, 3 hours per course per week. It depends on not only the rhythm of a study, but how deep you want to go to the content. Because yeah, you can just read, do the quizzes, the assignments, or you can use all the services that we offer, like the tutor, which is not only to solve problems, to clear doubts, but to go deeper on a subject as well. Yeah, so it depends on student to student. I remember that I was always using the Britannica from my neighbors, and the owner of the Britannica never opened the Britannica. So for those who are way too young, an encyclopedia. So I use it a lot to do my homework. But I'm sure that I would be the student using 3 hours per week instead of 1. So that it's up to you, to the students' interest to study more or less time during the week.
Jelaskan lagi mungkin dalam bahasa. So let me explain in bahasa maybe. You summarize your comment, Andreas and Mariza. Jadi ini pola yang dinamakan pola pendidikan asinkronis. Dan jadi anak bisa belajar dalam waktunya sendiri. Dan tadi dijelaskan oleh Pak Andreas dan Bu Mariza, itu tergantung anaknya. Bisa selesai 6 unit ini dalam 2 tahun, bahkan ada yang bisa selesai dalam mungkin di bawah 2 tahun. Nah ini makanya polanya, kalau dulu saya waktu di SMA 3 kan, waktu saya juga di luar kelas habisnya les primagama itu Pak. Nah bedanya cuma ini, kalau saya mengambil ekstrakurikuler, ini bisa di micro credentialing namanya kan, dikeluarkan sertifikat, dan kalau memenuhi 6 dari kurikulum yang ada, itu jadi diploma. Jadi ada outcome yang mungkin secara manfaat bisa dipakai sertifikat, baik sertifikasi maupun diplomanya di dalam kita misalnya ingin melamar kerja dan sebagainya, atau bahkan untuk mengajukan aplikasi ke universitas, entah ke UGM, ke UI, atau bahkan mungkin ke luar ya. Jadi ini skemanya seperti itu, dan memang ini yang Pak Tim sering ngomong itu sesuai dengan konsep yang Pak Nadiem suka, portfolio gitu ya. Model portfolio seperti itu. Jadi ini portofolionya lah. Tapi portofolionya keluar sertifikat per unit. Dan kalau sesuai dengan struktur kurikulum yang ada, jadi diploma. Jadi menurut saya produktif ya. Jadi penggunaan waktu yang produktif dari anak itu. Selain dapat ilmu, dapat pengakuan yang terstruktur gitu ya. Terstruktur. Di luar kurikulum yang dijalankan di SMA 3 dalam hal ini SMA lokalnya. Jadi mungkin so that I sort of summarize that in Indonesian in terms of the question from Pak Ikhwan. Now we are coming up to the top of the hour where we allocated time. I think there's one that came out in the Zoom chat. Let me see here. Pak Supriyono has a question here in the chat. Pak Supriyono mau bicara mungkin. Pak Supriyono ada di chat atau mau bicara? Mungkin ada raise hand.
Hello. Okay.
Silakan Pak Supriyono, please. Ya, monggo.
Well, first of all, as I'm sorry for joining late, so I'm afraid I have missed some important information. However, unless I'm mistaken, it said that the term of completion of this program will depend on the students' ability in managing the time. I just asked my daughter whether she's interested in this program, and of course she said yes. The problem is that in SMA 3, students are encouraged to take part in various activities, that they left for school early in the morning and get back home late in the night. 20, I can say almost 18 hours a day. Yeah? Give us some suggestion how we can be assured that our daughter will be able to take part in this program, because she joins time-consuming activities. That's the first question. The second, I may have missed this information, but allow me to ask, what are the special requirements for the students? Perhaps it's about the level on the grade of studying, whether it will start in grade 10 or later in 11. And what is it? Perhaps, I mean, you said that it will be held online. I hope I'm right. Is there any chance that students will be invited to a particular event? So offline, I mean. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Supriyono, a parent of an SMA3 student. So again, Andreas, I'll let you take a shot at this, and then Marisa to add on. Go ahead, Andreas.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Pak Supriyono, for your questions. Very valid ones, all of them. And as a parent of a 15-year-old, I carry the same with me, you should know. I would say that when it comes to time management and school, this is, of course, something that should be an ongoing discussion with the school. Let's make it very clear that what we are offering is something valuable, but it is at the same time something extracurricular. SMA3 is the school where your daughter is attending. It is the focus point of her education. And so if SMA3 can make time available for your daughter to study our program, then we are extremely happy about that, of course, and we believe it will benefit her greatly for the future. But when it comes to that time management, then that is a discussion that you should have with SMA3, so that we don't come in and say to SMA3, you need to free up this time, because that's not our place. We offer what we have, and then if there's time for that, then there is, and you use it. So that's one thing. The second thing is the requirements for students to attend the program. You need to have a certain, you need to be a student with passing grades, and you cannot have failed a year and things like that, the standard things. However, the system works in a way so that it is set up so that you can try certain things out. So we don't have any type of subject specific requirements ahead of time before you start. We do have a requirement for the diploma that you must take American history and English at level 12. So you must do that during the program, but ahead of time, we don't have any specific, apart from the English level. We test the students to make sure their English level is up to par. And we use a standard test that is used in the United States for high school entry for international students, called the LTIS test. Not to be confused with the IELTS test, that's a different one. But we use that test, we test the student, we make sure the student is at the level needed for the program. So that was two. I must confess, I've lost the third question. I'm sorry. It's early in the morning for me. There was a third question. Could somebody repeat it, please?
Yeah, opportunity to have also offline meetings. Yeah. So
yes. So there will be an opportunity. There will be many, actually. Educatius is a very large international education provider, and we have all sorts of opportunities, both long-term and short-term opportunities for our students. And you will be made aware of the possibilities there are. These include short-term programs in schools in America. It includes group programs. It includes the possibility to attend a graduation ceremony after the program. So we do have these options in place, but they're offered on not on a mandatory basis, but for those students who wish to join it, they're offered. So we will make those available for you so you can review them. But there are all sorts of interesting things that are on offer for students who want to combine with an offline component as well.
Okay, thank you, Andreas and Marisa. Did you want to add to that?
Thank you.
Yeah, just a quicker thing. So when it comes to the time to finish a course, I don't know if I should say that there is one student that just finished 2 days ago a course, and she spent 17 hours to finish a course. So she had a break, a school break, and that's what she did. She basically used it all her free time to do it. So usually we should say, yeah, no, 120 hours per course, but the average student spends 55 hours per course. So that would say a bit early in the morning or during weekends or with school breaks. Meaning that she would still be able to fit in a course. I would suggest taking more than a course per semester then. So she can do both Indonesian school and online school courses with a good grade. I think I stopped.
So, terima kasih Pak Supriyono, Pak Iwan, ya, Ihsan, atas pertanyaan dan komennya. Thank you, Mr. Supriyono and Pak Iwan.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Pak, thank you. And jadi mungkin untuk sederhananya memang program ini program yang bisa juga nanti ada konsultasi ya. So there's a opportunity also for consultations. We have Ibu Marisa in Indonesia. So Ibu Marisa juga counselornya atau mentor dari siswa-siswa. Jadi we can for parents and teachers opportunity to discuss also about learning more about the program. And by coincidence, Ibu Marisa will be back here in Yogyakarta next week. 17th, I believe, 17th. So we can, Pak Supriyono, if you have questions or anything, we can do like a forum with parents or students who have questions on this program on the 17th in Yogyakarta. So thank you, Pak Supriyono, again, Pak Ihsan, atas comment and questions, and thank you to the students. Ya, terima kasih para siswa. Future leaders. Betul?
Yes.
The future millennial leaders, right? So thank you, and thank you for everyone following from all there's many classes that are actually following this program right now from SMA 3 dari SMA 3 banyak kelas yang lagi online ini ya. Ada berapa kelas ini online ya? 10 kelas. So right now as we speak there's 10 classes that are online. 12 classes that are simultaneously online following us today. So thank you Pak Kepala Sekolah, thank you Principal Pak Kus, and thank you also for the teachers that are following this and parents. And thank you Pak Tim from the Education Council and my colleague Mr. Randy. And so I want to now give the floor back to our host, the principal of SMA 3. But before I add that, I want to add two little things before I give the floor back to Pak Kus. And this was important for me when I was studying in SMA 3. Jadi ini penting juga bagi saya waktu saya kuliah di SMA 3, sekolah di SMA 3. Saya tuh dari SMA 3 langsung ke Amerika, teman-teman. Tapi dapat beasiswa. Jadi dapat beasiswa untuk kuliah di Amerika langsung. Terus habis itu saya terus sampai selesai S1 sampai S2 lah ininya. Nah, what Educatius itu juga ada program sebenarnya, program untuk bagaimana pathway diterima di universitas di Amerika. Ini juga tambahan programnya. Dan juga bagaimana bisa digandingkan dengan beasiswa. Digandingkan beasiswa. So, itu satu yang mungkin ke depan juga bisa dipikirkan. Jadi, so I just sharing with you, with the colleagues here, my personal experience. Finishing my high school experience in SMA 3, I went directly to the US on a scholarship program. And so I know Andreas, Educatius also has a sort of a pathway program into the United States universities, and also combining it with opportunities for scholarships. So that's an opportunity also for the students of SMA 3. So again, to the principal of SMA 3, Pak Kus, buat Bapak Kepala Sekolah, terima kasih sekali memberikan kesempatan bagi kami untuk hadir di sini. Tentunya saya sebagai alumni sangat bangga bisa kembali hadir di SMA saya, SMA 3, dan waktu saya kembalikan kepada Pak Kus.
Again, that on behalf of the school, I would like to say thank you very much for this great opportunity for SMA 3 to have chance to study with international standard. Okay. I know that some students and parents are interested in joining this program, and we opened maybe we provide time for students and parents who are interested in this program to come to school to talk about it at school. Oke, sekali lagi untuk para siswa, saya kira banyak siswa yang tertarik dan orang tua, karena ini kesempatan yang bagus. Silakan nanti bisa datang ke sekolah untuk berbicara lebih lanjut terkait dengan apa mekanismenya. Karena terkait dengan tadi masalah kegiatan yang banyak, anak SMA 3 itu kegiatannya tidak akan kurang. Ditambah ini pun masih bisa, insya Allah. Anak-anak SMA 3 itu kegiatannya memang banyak, tapi insya Allah banyak. Justru ini adalah kesempatan, ya kan, bagaimana tetap sebagai siswa SMA 3 tapi mendapatkan kualitas internasional, gitu kan, gitu. Jadi gitu, pada bapak-bapak dan ibu-ibu orang tua siswa, kami ucapkan terima kasih yang sebesar-besarnya. Mari kita sama-sama mempersiapkan putra-putri Bapak Ibu untuk bisa menjadi orang-orang yang sukses bersaing secara internasional. Ini adalah kesempatan yang sangat baik. Kalau tidak di SMA 3, saya kira tidak bisa mendapatkan kesempatan seperti ini, gitu ya. Terima kasih Pak George, yang ini alumni. Oke, thank you very much. Dan insya Allah nanti di tahun-tahun ke depan juga kita akan tetap promosikan ini dan kita akan kembangkan jual program ini, Pak. Ini adalah hal yang kebetulan sangat kesempatan yang sangat istimewa. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Baik, salam.
Thank you, Andreas. Oh, sorry.
Foto dulu. Foto. Ya, akhir dulu di foto. Diakhiri dulu. Nanti di foto di sini.
Finally, we come to the end of this event, and I would like to say thank you very much for all of the students and all of the guests for your coming and your attention. May what we have conducted will be useful for us, and we really hope that many students of Padmanabha will join this program to get great opportunities. And I would like to apologize for any mistake that I've made. And next, we will do the documentation. We will take the photos together.
Thank you. Tutup ya. Oke.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Anak-anak di situ aja. Namanya mobilnya begini. Nah, ini Pak. Anak-anak begini. Ya. Tadi hubungan saya sangat terkait dengan batik Anda. Maksudnya dari batik. Gimana sih? You like the batik, right? You like the batik, yeah? This is the SMA 3. Oh ya, mau lepas satu dia.
So everyone look at the camera. I'm going to count on 3, 2, 1.
Cheers.
Okay, once again, 3, 2, 1.
Cheers.
another device ya.
Another camera. Okay. Other camera, please. Another device.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Count on 3. 1, 2, 3. Another device again ya, everyone. Looking good. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.